Good evening viewers. This is our fourth tutorial. In our third tutorial, we have seen the dynamic behavior of a structure, a 15-story tower, RC shear wall tower, and we have seen various requirements regarding the modes of vibrations. So in continuation to that, now we want to improve the behavior of that dynamic behavior of that structure. Now, as far as the codal requirements are concerned, this tower is less than 50 meters, so the provisions of 16700 are not necessary. IS Indian standard 16700, that is high rise code requirements, are not necessary. And as far as the Indian seismic code 1893 is concerned, it is satisfying all the codal requirement, because we have seen in our previous tutorial that the torsional displacement is the delta max and delta mean. So if delta max is not more than 1.5 times, or even if it is more than 1.5 times, the code require that the first two modes need to be translation, which is here. But if this structure would have been more than 50 storied, or in general if we require to improve the dynamic behavior of this structure, we'll see today, we'll undergo an exercise and we'll see how to improve the dynamic behavior. That means how to reduce the torsional effects in that particular building. So now, as we have seen here, if you see, first mode period was 2.496 seconds, and the UX mass participation was around 47%. RZ, that is torsional mass participation, was 0.22, that is 22% around. In case of second mode, the time period is 2.11 seconds. Mass participation is in Y direction majorly, that is 67-68%, and there is no torsional effect there observed. Here it is very nice, it is just 0.12% RZ. Third mode is a torsional mode. Its time period is 2.034 and it is a torsional mode majorly. RZ is 48%. Now we want to improve, means we first want to reduce this torsional coupling in the first mode, one thing. Second thing is we try to keep this third torsional mode away from this second translational mode. So let us see how we can logically do this, because this requires a lot of trial and error and iterations and all that, and if we don't look in proper logical way, or what is the physics behind that, if we don't understand, then we end up with n number of trials, because what we do in changes in one trial, they either somewhere compensate and somewhere some odd effects come, they nullify each other, and the iteration goes on for many times. And this is, if you from design office, you know this take lots of effort. So let us derive a procedure in which how do we can do this systematically. Now, as you are aware, if I look at a particular plan of some story here, you can see there are number of walls are there, then this floor plate is there. So we can say there is a mass there and there are stiffnesses there. Now these are there per 4 story also, and they are cumulative also. If I look from top, then there are masses, they are adding up, and then at this story there will be some stiffness. So this mass, if it has eccentricity, it will try to twist the structure overall. The basic criteria to avoid torsion, there are 2-3 criteria. But all things are not in, you cannot get every time a perfectly symmetrical building and all that. There are certain requirements, functional requirement of a particular building. Now if you look at this, you can notice that here the building Y dimension. If I look at the Y dimension, it is around 33 meters. And if I look at what the center is appearing in this, it is 18 meters. So the building plan is oriented in such a way that the more mass is concentrated here. Now as more mass is concentrated here, and the stiffness, if it is not, we cannot plan in such a way that the stiffness also should be more in that particular portion, then there will be a no twisting will happen. The best way to check this is to check the center of rigidity and the center of mass. Now to find out the center of rigidity and center of mass, there are certain requirements. Now in this file, we have defined the diaphragm as semi-rigid diaphragm. However, if I have semi-rigid diaphragm, then I cannot find out the center of rigidity. So I will open up another file wherein I define this diaphragm as a rigid diaphragm. Okay. Now, also while running, I need to clearly mention, when I say calculate diaphragm centers of rigidity. So this I need to mention here. If I mention that, then I can find out the center of rigidity and center of mass. Center of mass is always there, but center of rigidity will be calculated now. So let us look into the table, show tables. So you can see here structure output. In that structure output, you can see other output items in which you can see center of mass and rigidity. So this table we will open up. Now see, these are the center of mass and these are the center of rigidity. I'll go to some typical floor, particularly say like third floor or fourth floor. Let me go to say around sixth floor somewhere to have a quick glance, quick idea about this. Now if you see, the center of mass is located at somewhere x coordinate and y coordinate is 17.02 somewhere. Now if I look at the center of mass, its x coordinate is 21.63, so which is fairly matching with this. So in practical limit, this is quite good. But if I look at y coordinate of this center of rigidity, it is somewhere around 15.4. So here it is 15.4, here it is 17. So around a difference of 1.5 meter is there in y direction. What it means? It means that the center of mass is somewhere here and the center of rigidity is somewhere here. So what is this? This is eccentricity, and this eccentricity is trying to twist this building, and that's why the torsion is appearing. So very meaningfully this is reflected. This is reflected in the mass participation table. If you look at x direction, then this torsion effect is there. But if you look at y direction, then there was no such torsion effect was there. So this has given me now one idea that yes, my mass is on this side and my stiffness is a bit on this side. So now naturally I need to look at the structure and I need to add some stiffnesses. Now adding stiffnesses, there are a number of ways. This is a much tedious part of any structural design office. You will require a number of iterations and all that. So for this purpose, let us look at the plan. Now if I look at the plan, I will notice that I want to add some stiffnesses. I will make it clear. Now either I can add stiffnesses somewhere here, or I can reduce stiffnesses here, or I need to make this structure torsionally too stiff. Now if I look at here, I see these all walls in X direction, they are seems like very efficiently placed. They are not very small and they are efficiently utilized. So there is no chance to reduce the stiffness from here. If I want to add stiffness here, there are a number of architectural constraints and all that which do not allow me to add stiffness. If I look at the plan, if I want to add anything in this portion horizontal wall, I do not have any chance to add here, and I need to be away from the center of rigidity so that I can get torsional stiffness. This also I cannot add because this might be the parking below. Here this I cannot add because this is a shaft. This is there. This blue color is for non-structural. So now if I look carefully, then I have what options? I can either reduce stiffness here, or I can add stiffness here, or I can add stiffness in such a way that it will add up to torsional stiffness. So looking at this, I find one spot here. Yeah, this is a non-structural wall. There is no plumbing going from this. This is the ledge wall here. This wall is anyway non-structural wall, and being a My1 construction, this is going to be cast in the same grade of concrete in which what structural walls are being cast. So concrete is already there. Only if we make this wall as structural, our reinforcement will add up as per the design demand, but concrete will not add. So the way we can do is we will connect this by structural wall. Now this only one will not help. I require this at all four corners. I will add it here, I will add it here, I will add it here, and I will add it here. This is an iterative process. I also needed a number of iterations, and then I come to this conclusion. Be patient. You will have to do a lot of iterations, and you will have to every time check the center of mass and center of rigidity. And center of mass and center of rigidity alone cannot solve. Even you need a torsional stiffness also. So let us look at now another file wherein I will add up these stiffnesses. So see now what I have done. I have added up these stiffnesses here. This. Now this bends. This, if you look overall building as a cantilever, you will notice, yeah, you have increased lot of torsional stiffness here. But when I really don't need this wall from my design demands, these walls I am putting some more concrete. So what I will do, if I am putting this to make dynamic behavior better, I cannot add up the cost. I need to somewhere do some saving. So what I notice, yes, this wall is not that much loaded. I will in another tutorial, I will show you the way how to optimize the wall and all that, and it is a thorough process. So let us keep that part here, but assume that I have checked all that and I have noticed that yes, in these walls are, I have a scope to reduce the thickness of these walls. So what I am doing, I am adding this wall to improve my dynamic behavior, to reduce torsion, but at the same time I am decreasing the wall thickness of these walls. So like this, then also I will also check can I reduce the thicknesses somewhere here. Now these are the central walls. These walls are not helping me in torsion. They are giving me the stiffness in X direction, but anyway I am having sufficient stiffness in X direction. So, and there is no design demand. So this way, after looking at all this, whatever wall thicknesses can be reduced, they are all reduced. Now let us see the mass participation table. So let us go to the mass participation table, show tables. Here we will go in this structure output. In this structure output, we will see here modal mass participation mass ratios. Okay, so we have come to this table. I'm just opening the table completely here till this RZ, and now you can see what improvement happened in the structures. What has happened? First mode time period has reduced to 2.3. Mass participation has improved. It has now gone to 56%. And what has happened to torsional coupling? Torsional coupling, which was earlier 21% around, it is now become 12%. Same way, if you look at this second mode time period is 2.053 and third mode time period has reduced to 1.875. So 1.875 is a very good time period for this height of this structure, and the structure is now torsionally quite stiff. Torsional mode is separated. So if I just check what is the ratio coming, so 1.875 divided by 2.053. So this is coming out around 0.91. So it is as good as 0.9. So this way now we have achieved all the conditions. There is a very small torsional coupling in the translational mode. At the same time, the torsional mode is the third mode. First two modes are translational mode, and torsional mode is separated properly from the second mode, that is the translational mode, and torsional mode is the third mode. However, whenever we do all such type of things, there is always one very important thing is there. You cannot do all this just by adding the material or making the structure cost wise inefficient. So let us have a quick look that what material I am putting in. Now one thing is very clear. In my INTABS model, I am modeling this wall, so I am counting this in the dead weight. But anyway, this was non-structural wall and this load was put as a wall. But anyway, I will consider this and I will check. So I will go to tables and I will check the total dead weight of the building. So here what is the dead weight of the building coming, that I will check. And now if I see the base reactions, then you can notice here the FZ force for dead load case, it is 193170. 193170. This is after we have improved the structural behavior. We have added some wall, but at the same time we have reduced the wall thicknesses where it was not necessary, and my total weight of concrete in that structure, dead weight of the concrete, it is 193170 kilonewtons. I will go to earlier file, which was our first file, and in this file also let us go and look at our consumption. So here if you see, here the dead weight is 194471. So I am using less concrete, and here there is one actually in reality I am using much lesser concrete because this wall is a non-structural wall. So this concrete was already there. So what is happened? Only some reinforcement is added. So the actual saving of concrete is more than what is predicted in a quick check on INTAB model. So the wall is added, but overall there is a saving. Torsional behavior is improved, but the cost is less. No doubt, a lot of iterations needed to be done. I am showing you the final file, but before arriving to final file, any engineer need to spend many hours of iteration to improve this. So in our today's lecture, we have seen how to improve the dynamic behavior of a structure. how we can look at center of mass and center of rigidity, and at the same time we can see what is the scope to increase or add stiffness, what is the scope to reduce some stiffness. So this way, and while doing all this, of course it is very important that you should keep an eye on the cost. Otherwise sometimes people go on adding material, and whenever the point comes, why so, no, the building was in torsion and it was not coming out of torsion, and so we have to increase the thicknesses of walls and we have to put more concrete and more material. So ideally that is not the right way. Its structure need to be optimum, and at the same time the behavior, the performance of the structure should be very precise. So thank you very much for listening to this tutorial. If you find these tutorials useful, please like, share and subscribe. I will continue delivering more number of such tutorials to you. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.